Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer and it's Sunday, March 3rd. And we're going to look at what the transits ahead will be for next week. And we're going to do an angel reading and a tarot card for each sign. We're going to start with Pisces because it's your birthday month. Happy birthday, Pisces. Welcome to the end of a solar cycle, meaning Pisces is the last sign of the Zodiac before we go into the new year, the solar new year, astrologically, when we start Aries. I'm going to make a couple of announcements and then I'll start going into the transits. First of all, today is going to, when I talk about the sign, sorry, I'm a little choppy right now. When I talk about which sign, when I talk about Pisces, I'm talking about Pisces rising. This also includes Pisces moon and Pisces sun, as well as if you have a stellium Pisces. That would be 3 or more personal planets in this sign of Pisces. I also wanted to let you know that this, if I talk about a time, I don't think I will today. No, I won't. So never mind on that. I also want to let you know the March monthlies are out, you guys. So check those videos. They're detailed. They go through the month and the most powerful influences that will be going on. Happy birthday week, Stephen. And I just published the Pisces new moon video that is happening next Sunday at 1 a.m. Pacific time. There you go. Small Wildflowers is not going to be with us today. She had some personal business to attend to. So I'm going to be, before I start each sign, I'm going to hold up a little card. That way, this afternoon, I can just scroll through the video for the timestamps. I just thought I was getting smart today. So, and we have a stellium in Pisces, so I'm getting creative. All right, so let's talk about this week. Can I say all right a few times? We have the Sun, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune all in Pisces. The Sun and Mercury and Saturn are all kind of clustered together, and Neptune's out at those later degrees. But that's still a very powerful influence because it is bringing up a lot of things through the Pisces energy. And I was thinking about Pisces in my meditation, and Spirit reminded me that Pisces is literally represents dreaming. And then they took me to a meditation I had years ago where they showed me that humans are kind of like whales. You know, they say after 72 hours, if you don't sleep, you will start to lose your mind. And they showed me that the sleep time is when our awareness subsides, our physical awareness, and our inner consciousness commingles back with our soul, our personality and our soul come back together. I akin it, as I said, to a whale kind of coming up every 6 minutes or so for air before submerging itself back into the water. So as we think about the energy of Pisces this week, and we think about the energy of Saturn, you know, both can make us feel a sense of wanting to tuck in, wanting to maybe even sleep more than we have been. And I think that might be the soul asking to connect with you where your awareness is not interrupting, where the personality isn't getting in the way. Welcome, Janine. It's so great to see you. Welcome, Catherine. Okay, so with the Sun and Saturn being conjunct, you know, I think this is an opportunity to really look at how am I, you know, asserting myself? How am I allowing myself to take action on things? And am I willing to pace myself? I'm not going to joke. Saturn is not an easy energy, especially if you're not aware of Saturn's requirements for diligence and endurance. But as you apply those requirements, then Saturn starts to reward. And here, I believe that's rewarding the potentials that you have as an creative individual. And creativity is about your self-expression, not necessarily about painting or writing or sculpting. So I think I want to think about that a little bit. We see that Mercury is making a sextile to Uranus. And with Mercury being in Pisces and Mercury representing not only my thoughts, my speech, what I teach and learn through my mind, but also it represents my siblings, my cousins, my everyday, habits and activities and the things that I do. And here, I think this is an opportunity to really sort of, with Uranus's influence, think to the future. And I think that's what Saturn's doing in Pisces, saying build in a strong way. It really isn't necessarily about illusion or being delusional, but more about Pisces, where is your empathy or your compassion interrupting your own self-expression potentially, or your own dreams coming to where they want to go. Because we see Neptune also making a sextile to Pluto, and that, Pluto has just entered Aquarius, and that energy is akin to Uranus. I want to liberate myself. I want to think to the future. I want to reframe where I've been and to open up to a more potentials. That's what I want to say too. When I think of Pisces, I think it's like the energy where the soul or the personality leaves off in this lifetime, and then we pick up back again in another lifetime in the Aries energy. I'm just talking about the natural cycle of the wheel. It's obviously going to be different with each one of your natal charts. We also are seeing a concentration of energy in Pisces, in Aquarius, heading into Aries, and then into Taurus. We see Venus and Mars right now making a square to Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. And that square is, here's Venus, my skills, my self-confidence, my sense of comfort and security in my ability to create my world in the sign of my self-expression and uniqueness. Again, playing to this energy of what can be as I lay the seeds right now in this new moon, but also in Saturn's transit through Pisces. You're building structure, you're building strength and a strong foundation to then, put the pretty stuff on. Mars is at 15 degrees of Aquarius. And while Mars, a lot of people want to just bring up the hothead. I was thinking about this in my meditation. I don't know if you can call it a meditation, but I pose questions and then I get these sort of answers. And I thought that Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It's in its highest vibration next to its rulership. And then it moves from that vibration into Aquarius. I have to think on some level, the hero energy of Mars has assimilated certain things and strategies during the Capricorn energy, and then taking them into this futuristic Aquarian energy. So I think this is very powerful as we look at the planets from a more aware, AKA evolved point of view, bringing them into the 21st century. We bring the elements of ancient times, but we get to give evolvement to the planets as well. And in this Venus, Mars in Aquarius, in the square to Jupiter and Uranus, I think that this is really kind of representing 1 foot in the past and then 1 foot in the future, or 1 foot in the potentials of the future. And how do I on the new moon, I put this little picture or whatever it was, but it said something about, like it has to do with first your attitude. What is your belief before you take on your action? And then before you, as you take that action, you start to manifest in a way that is kicking in the divine laws of the universe. So even while there's scary stuff going on the outside, we represent possibilities, contrast. This whole earth plane is about contrast. So I think that's important. And I also wanted, before I go on to the readings, I wanted to make a note that Neptune trining Pluto right now, and that's going to happen for quite some time. Both of them are slow pokey moving planets, and as Neptune, hovers in the last degrees of its rulership, and Pluto dips back into Capricorn, and we're going to feel this opportunity to integrate are the sort of the release of toxic energy that we've been experiencing. And the release comes through awareness, and the awareness brings an integration, which then turns that toxic energy into the manure that makes my garden grow. So that's kind of where I'm going with this week. It's been pretty soggy here as well. I kind of like the rain, when I got to admit it sometimes. It just kind of gives you an excuse to hunker in, make a pot of soup or chili, or bake a little bit. It's nice. Okay. So as I said earlier, Small Wildflowers is not going to be with us today. So I quickly made these little cards so I could identify as I scroll through. We're going to start with Pisces rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Your tarot card is, the Ace of Cups. If this isn't a dreamy, lovey, warm, overflowing energy, the aces are always an infusion of energy, something new and exciting. And it is your birthday month, your solar return. And you are about to host in a, I don't know, not too long, I think on Monday, the 11th, as I recall, Venus will enter her exaltation, your sign. So this is a really great time to start to think of your cup as overflowing. What do you want emotionally? Connect with spirit. And I want to offer this because with Mercury traveling through your sign and Saturn, you may find yourself reviewing the past, your history, but you can also use that information or that musings or that reflection as an opportunity to decipher what you want to take with you and what you want to allow to be where it is. We can never truly release anything. I mean, unless, some of us might be pre-designed to be so compassionate. If anybody is, it's you. But I want to offer this cup overflowing is about you. It's about celebrating you and what you love. Let's see what the angels have to say. Our first angel is Athena. It's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself, Pisces. Now that you've asked God for help, be open to receiving. Fiona is here for you. Archangel Uriel is allowing you to release any frustrations or anger. And Adriana is leading you to the answer to your prayers. And this is where you start to listen to that inner knowing. And maybe even this week, give yourself an opportunity to retreat a little bit. Pisces rules so many sort of polarizing things, because an artist, a writer or an artist spends time alone creating. And at the same time, the sign of Pisces represents where people are put in storage, and put in isolation. So when we look at just that dynamic of Pisces, it's like, what do we do with that time alone? And while not many of us are under the control of another person, what do we do with our time alone? Where do we allow our musings to go? Does it go to the more fun, creative side where your cup gets to overflow, or does it go to where you've been and feel a sense of history that's tethering you back? I love my alone time as well, but my alone time is actually very prevalent. A lot of alone time. Okay, let's see. For our Pisces, Athena is saying it's safe to lovingly assert yourself in creating a strong foundation. The Earth Fairy is here. That's very much Saturn's influence in your first house this week. We have Fiona saying, now that you ask God and the angels for help, be open to receiving a transformation. And sometimes, Pisces, a transformation, the human defaults to the dark side of what a transformation means. Sometimes that transformation is an awareness that everything is overflowing. Things are on their way. Again, the ace is not the manifestation. The ace is the inspiration. So we go with Archangel Uriel is being joined by the disruption card. Spirit is offering you some sort of fine tuning with any disruption you've been experiencing. I've talked about some things that have been going on and they're still lingering. Nothing has been resolved. And I know that at some point in the near future, there'll be a new call to action. So I feel like My surrendering is also trusting that I'm being led down a certain path. And even if that path makes other humans uncomfortable or unhappy, I get to stay aligned to my deeper truth. That's the way I want to put it. Because in the angel's advice is they're working with you in any disruptions, in any frustrations you have, to feeling love, to feeling flow, to feeling inspiration. And it might come through something having to shift. What I see here also is that there could potentially be, our birthday months can bring us reflection in a way that we reflect on what hasn't happened versus what has happened. And that's something that I don't want to use the word struggle, but struggle is applicable because I've created a lot of wonderful things for myself, and yet I can still tend to shift to what has not happened yet. So I want to offer this because Adriana is being joined by the restriction card, which feels like Saturn. And if we think about Adriana, you're being led towards the answers to your prayers. Now is a time to take care of yourself during your solar return. Make the declarations that you would like to start to nurture and grow. I know that March is a pivotal month. April is also a pivotal month. And these months, even May, is setting up things that we can't quite imagine. And yet at the same time, we have an inkling in the back of how that feels in the material. So I think this is really important, Pisces, to assert yourself in creating strong foundations and using Saturn's energy for your benefit, rather than feeling tethered to somebody else's dynamic. Again, we can inadvertently give up to the power that Saturn represents. But when we put that power in our own home, in our own home court, we understand our co-creation, then we know that a disruption is leading to our empowerment. All right. Onward and upward. We're also having a big eclipse this month. So we'll be talking about that because that's on the supergalactic center at 5 degrees of Libra. And I think that's going to bring a lot of stuff to the forefront. All right, we are going to, I almost licked my finger. I'm not doing it. Aries. I made these little signs because small's not here, and I want to be able to just scroll to the sign. All right, your tarot card is the Sun. This is a wonderful energy. This really, I want to reiterate that we have the planets all kind of clustering in this energy. We've got Venus and Mars in Aquarius. We've got Mercury, Saturn, the Sun, and Neptune in Pisces. And we're clustering back into the Aries and the Taurus energy. So being aware of that, we can start to, again, plant those seeds to be sown with more intention and focus as we move into that Aries energy, which is asking us what's important to us. What do we want? Because Aries, this sun is exalted in your house. Okay, it is a revered guest. There's also a certain amount of vulnerability. This child trusts a pony, not a stallion. So there's some sort of cooperation in the I almost feel like the pony and the child represent the youth of their species and what is ahead versus what is actually manifest, and to stay the course to grow your garden. Okay, let's see what the angels have to say. Our first angel is Grace and Antoinette, about compassion and looking at things from a different point of view, walking across the room. Then we have Caressa talking about the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you. Shanti is offering peace, and Serafina is also offering peace through a happy change within the family. The family could very well be the family of your mind. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Deer, which is about diplomacy. Caressa is being joined by the Focus card. Shanti is being joined by the Forgiveness card. And the Owl is being joined by, or Seraphine is being joined by the Owl. When I look at this for my Aries, I feel as if, again, we're going to see Aries play out in multiple ways. And I watch TikTok. I'm not much for Facebook or Instagram anymore. I've gone off those platforms. And Aries always gets the same crap. Okay. Always the warrior, always the hothead, always the brash one. And well, that is very true. It is completely out of bounds for those that are standing in awareness. And whether your awareness wobbles every once in a while is irrelevant. Okay. So let's start reframing this, because this grace and Antoinette and gentleness and diplomacy is all about what you've been garnishing and learning. And that all started way back when your ruling planet spent 7 months in Gemini, looking at how you think, how you speak, and how that reflects in your interactions with others. Gemini rules our teammates and our workmates. So the sun is coming. Things are growing because you have a new awareness. It doesn't mean that the imprint that you are is not still sitting there, but now with this awareness, you know when to pull what you need out. Because Caressa says you're at the end of a life cycle, new happiness awaits you. This feels like the life cycle of being framed for being, assertive. The thing about the Aries energy, which I think is funny, is the more cooperative, quote unquote, planets or energies, they love it when Aries steps forward and it's what they want. But when they don't want it, it's a whole different story, because that end of that life cycle is Aries understanding the different colors that you are, and that you get to play with any one of the colors you want. And here Shanti is offering you more peace and a reconciliation, because now you are aware that if you need to pull out your sword, or if you want to be harsh or brash, I don't think you're doing it without consciousness. I think you're understanding the duality of it, and in doing so, becoming a master of that energy. Now, let's think about this too, because Chiron has been transiting Aries for quite some time. I can't even remember when it went into Aries. We see Eris is in there. She's been in there, Mars's little sister, since like 1948. So almost everybody has that in their chart in Aries. And we have the nodal structure, the North Node in Aries right now, sort of making this ravenous energy for self-expression and to be recognized for, and I'm going to say it, your awareness, your evolution, that you are not the same person that you were 10 years ago, 10 months ago, 10 weeks ago. Because Serafina is talking about a happy change to your family, and that feels like the family, the committee in your head, And this feels like now you understand the duality of life. Without it, we would never know achievement. Without the duality of life, we would never know empowerment. We'd never know that tail wag of, I didn't think I can do this, but I can. I didn't, I persevered past the nonsense, and I experienced something new for myself. So Aries, I'm excited for you. I think some things are coming to fruition. All right, let's move on to our Taurus rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I'm telling you, Taurus, I just get chills every time I say it. I have my moon in Taurus. I've been experiencing Jupiter. It's funny. Jupiter's retrograde brought me more bounty than Jupiter's forward movement. But I also found myself being looked at by many more people as their mom. And the moon, Jupiter expansion in the house of self-worth. All right, I'm going to use one of my little signs again, because we don't have small wildflowers today. Taurus, this is your reading. Let's see your tarot card. Oh, the Empress. Goodness gracious, I'm loving these last two cards. Not only are they both major arcana cards, which really represents an energy that is very powerful. It is the Fool walks through the major arcana and learns about the human experience. So these energies represent the earth plane and the possibilities. And here we're looking at Venus. We're looking at the Empress. We're looking at the ruler of Taurus, offering a relaxed, situation here, meaning she is sitting back because she knows her destiny in the sense that the stars offer a landscape of choice, and she knows how to choose when to put on the gas and when to take off the gas. The Empress is Venus's in many ways where she is truly self-actualized and aware and powerful. And I started thinking, I've been working on a video about the planets in exaltation, fall, detriment, and rulership. And I've been thinking about how Venus is in detriment when she's in Aries. She's going to be in Aries in about a month or so. And I thought, you know why? Because people are used to taking that feminine energy and making it very soft. And when she's in Aries, she's going to be very powerful. She's going to be assertive. She's going to be more masculine, as they say. So where I'm getting at this is that your awareness of your Venusian energy, Taurus, your willingness to understand that Jupiter and Uranus are offering you something. I think those stars, that star crown, could be very much Uranus, and understanding that whatever unexpected events start to reveal themselves as you sit back, there is bounty to be had. There is expansion. Jupiter represents so many things, but one of them is that entrepreneurship, that using your skills to create something for yourself. Thank you, DJ. So I want to really prepare you, because if we think about Taurus, Gemini is your second house. And this gives you an opportunity as Jupiter, while it may be in detriment when it goes into Gemini, it's still going to offer expansion of your everyday activities, of how you are approaching your ability to make money and the seeds you're planting right now. So let's see what the angels have to say. Our first angel is Caressa. A new life cycle is coming. Isabella says, yes, the timing is right for this new cycle. Indriel is here saying the world needs you to light up and use your skills, your voice, your talents. And Xana's telling you that you're protected. We have Caressa joining the restriction, or the restriction card is joining Caressa. So I want to offer this because I think this is the end of restriction, the end of some sort of pause, and you're being able to adapt to, or your relaxed energy will bring in more bounty. Isabella is being joined by the hawk. Indriel's being joined by the perception card, Taurus, and Xana is being joined by the cat. This feels very much as if you're going to get a new sense of independence, to trust yourself, to start to work in a flow with the universe. One of the greatest gifts that I have been given, because I do this really almost every week at some point. I think I'm never going to get another client again. I just go through this little old history panic where, nobody is necessarily inquired in 24 hours or whatever. And then I have a moment where I see myself pushing a shopping cart or whatever. And then it just turns right around. So the reason I say this is because Taurus, especially Taurus moon, the moon is exalted in Taurus, and you could be very, very connected to your own creativity, your own personal history, your own skills. You could be very connected to wanting to eat well and take care of yourself. And now may be a time when you sitting back a little bit and sort of re-evaluating what the next fun thing is going to be, because there's something new coming, and that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to bring something unexpected but very bountiful for you. The potentials are there as you've been planting the seeds for them. Now, I'm not going to say that if you haven't been putting any intention out there, I don't know what the universe is going to bring to you. But if you've been putting an intention out there, then the universe, I think, is going to support that intention. The only caveat would be is am I building it on a sense of security, or am I building it on a sense of insecurity? And that sometimes is not always easy to determine, because I know there were certain things I built and they were really on a sense of insecurity. And at the time I thought, oh no, This is going to be good for me. So it's going to take a moment, because Spirit really wants you to step back and go into your inner knowing and align to it. What is your deeper truth? Because your bounty is offered within your star imprint, meaning your natal chart. This is why your soul is walking through this conjunction at this time. This is probably not going to happen again in your lifetime. I don't think so. It takes Uranus 84 years to get around the zodiac, and the chances of, we could figure it out, but Jupiter and Uranus, the last time they met was like in 2011 in Pisces. So it's not going to happen again in another sign. So this is all about knowing that you're protected through God and the angels, and allowing further independence, stretching yourself. If you're, so many little things that can be done. And I say little because I don't think that a lot of intensity has to happen. Let's say you like to knit. Okay. There's a craft for Taurus, right? Using your hands. And you thought, what if I just start a YouTube channel showing people how to knit? What? You don't know what could happen with that. You could be doing your own crafty thing, enjoying your time, and at the same time, making money. So something's opening up for your independence. I just think capitalize on that. All right, let's move on to our next sign, which will be our Geminis, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh my goodness, her Uranus return. I wonder what that's all about. Wonder how that plays out. Because they didn't even know Uranus existed when your mom was born. So it wouldn't even be considered. Isn't that funny? Yeah. All right, Gemini, here we go. Your tarot card is, oh my goodness, this is going to be a week. The Queen of Pentacles. This represents the Capricorn energy. This is an infusion of the air element, the water element, meaning the feminine, and the earth element. So when I think of Gemini right now, I'm thinking, oh, wow. What we want here is for Gemini to believe that if you build it, the money will come. If you want it, the money will come. I love this little bunny in the foreground because it's moving. It's got motion in the depicting. So it feels as if there's more rabbits coming behind this bunny. So bunnies are prolific. And I also feel like when I look at this again, the queens represent a mature energy, sort of an inner knowing, and here she is trusting what she's building, or what she wants in the way of material resources. Let's see where we're going here. Adriana says she's leading you towards the answer to your prayers. Bridget is asking you to look deeper. Archangel Raphael is offering a healing, and then Xana is saying you're protected. Gemini, you're going to experience Jupiter moving into your first house the end of May this year. It's going to stay there for a year. And while it's not in its strongest energy in your house, it's still going to be strong. It's a powerful planet. It's a big old planet. So I think that this could be a potential of really starting to consider what you want in the way of your own material resources and how that feels. Adriana is being joined by the dog, love. And I'm not talking about necessarily intimate love. I'm talking about what you want in the way of feeling secure, safe, and flow. Bridget is being joined by the forgiveness card. Oh, that's good. Archangel Michael is being joined by the movement card. And then Xana's being joined by the spider. So this feels very much, and I think it's interesting, Small Wildflowers, I think, is looking at a property today that she might live in. I didn't quite get a chance to give that text as much attention as I should have. But let me offer this, because whatever's happening right now for Gemini, there's going to be some sort of, if you've been going through a challenge, it's going to be like, oh, now I get it. Hindsight is 2020, because you're being led. If there's been a disruption, you're being led to something that's more authentic for you, something that you will love, something. And I can't help but think that, isn't Pisces your 10th house? and that, there could be some stuff going on in that public eye up there, career zone, because Bridget is asking you to look deeper, and there's the forgiveness card. So some sort of disruption is actually going to work out to your benefit. It's one of those divine disruptions. We have Archangel Raphael offering a healing, and there's movement. So something is moving in a direction that you may not have initially seen. And if we think about it, sometimes Gemini, because it represents the twins and it represents thinking, can go back and sort of, go back and forth in assessing information, also a rules process, because Xana is saying that whatever's coming in is going to stick. Whatever's coming in that you've been calling forth, which I think is really more aligned to something that you love versus being dutiful to others, or, somehow running a daily dynamic that is only playing to your financial security versus both your fun, your enjoyment, and opening things up, your world to more excitement. And whatever that is, it could be knitting. I don't care. As I reference back to Taurus. All right, let's move on. All right. Oh, forgot to give me my little sign. Uh-oh. Oh, I almost goofed. Gemini took the Cancer sign right away from me. There we go. Cancer, this one's for you. And it is the Strength card. Sorry, Lucy, I almost missed Cancer. This is interesting, though, because this Strength card represents the sign of Leo. And so here, what I'm looking at and seeing is that gentleness calms the beast. This card also represents a sense of fortitude, having to endure a certain amount of, I would say, discomfort and being brave, because clearly this maiden, while she may have, we don't know how effortless it was for her to just walk up to this lion and put her hand in his mouth. We don't know what the process was. More than likely, it was a process of building trust. So let's look and see where we're going here, because this might be trust in your own inner knowing, Cancer. This might be one of those things where you stop doing a crab crawl and you start trusting, your moon energy. I want to say this too, because the moon, this week's moon, it's actually next Sunday's moon, and check out the video. It's been posted. It's very, it's supported by Neptune. And anytime we're talking about watery things like the moon and Neptune, Cancer, it's natural for you, So this moon, being able to dream a little bit beyond what you've had to endure, and using the Leo energy to infuse fun and romance and laughter and frivolity, Yeah, the crab crawl. It's just the nature of the little critter, he can't help himself. It's the way he's designed. All right. Our first angel is Grace and Antoinette, Cancer. That might be compassion for self. Bridget looking deeper into a situation. Xana is saying you're being protected, and often that is mostly about emotional protection. And then we have Crystal saying that there's a new chapter ahead that you can't see. I think Pluto opposing you was really bringing we know as a Cancer that the 7th house is Capricorn, and there will be a toe tip of Pluto back into your 7th house, but now Pluto's in your 8th house of transformation. So I think that this is really about trusting the inner knowing, and maybe the inner knowing that your personality doesn't like. Like when there's somebody in your life that you really, there's a lot of good points to them, but there's a couple that are really, they're really deal breakers, but you're ignoring it. You're thinking, oh, maybe that'll change. And maybe here, what I'm looking at, let's see, because Grace and Antoinette could be about having compassion for yourself as you really have to step into a more authentic energy that brings love, compassion, and a sense of connection for you. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the spider, my relationship card. Bridget is being joined by the truth of what you need. Xana's being joined by the frog. That's your emotional body. Your emotional body will be protected. And then the Lady of the Lake is saying that as you step into sort of this deeper truth of what you really need and require, so many times we engage in relationships that are codependent and we don't even realize it. I recently revisited a relationship with an old friend, and our history is so long that it has some big gaps in it because we were out of alignment. And as we've aged, we really are not in alignment at all. And yet at the same time, recently, I watched him. I didn't know it at first because I was in my personality, but as I conveyed it, or I'm sorry, as I reflected on it, it really conveyed to me that the last interaction was very Aquarian, very Uranus, unexpected weird behavior, but it wasn't about me, but it was because I was inadvertently being used as a tool in somebody else's situation to create a wedge. And as I looked at that, I realized that it wasn't just that situation, but that I was calling forth a new vibration of what I want in the way of my interactions. And that while I care about these people, we're not aligned at all. And I'm very accountable, and they're very interesting about their accountability. So here I'm talking about this because you might be afraid if you give up what you want, if you're going to get left out in the cold. You're going to be that little crab that ends up at the crab cooker, and that's not a good ending. So I think that Crystal's saying have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon. That what you're doing by standing up for yourself is really bringing in a higher vibration or caliber of energy, relationship, or interaction. Because I really truly believe that sometimes we love people more than we love ourselves. And that is what this eclipse is going to reveal to us when we experience that in March 25th on the supergalactic center within a few degrees. We're going to start to look at the relationship with ourself is really the biggest measure of the health of our relationships with others. So trust Cancer a little bit more. Your value. Okay. On to our Leos. Now we're going to get to Leo. My little card. Hold on. Got two here. Leo. All you handwriting analysts out there can look at my handwriting. Oh, all right, here we go. This is a very interesting card. This is reflection. It's something you've been working on, you've been building. There's a certain amount of growth and manifestation, and now there's a decision to be made as to what is the next step. There are these, in some ways, this character could allow these coins to grow on the vine and, become larger potentially, but they could also inadvertently die on the vine if they're left too long. So let's see where we're going with this. We know that Pluto is opposing the early born Leos. And in that opposition, there's a deeper truth being called forth, right? Wherever Pluto is like an excavator, okay? It's going to dig deep underneath the surface to get the truth and the quality of whatever's being built. Okay, we have Athena saying it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself. Leo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums, to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and not to compromise. Omega is saying, yes, the timing is right for this desire. And Teresa says, not to worry. I want to offer this. I'm going to, okay. Pluto Everybody thinks that Pluto kills everything, just deader than a doornail, very 10 of swords. But Pluto kills the imbalance and brings forth balance. And I can't help but, the more that I play with astrology and I watch things on TV, and then I get curious and I pause the TV and I look up so-and-so's birth chart, what's going on, I realize that Pluto has been bringing people great happiness and wealth. But first, it destroyed something that everybody thought looked good on the outside. And I just bring this up because Pluto is opposing the house of Leo right now in the early degrees, and will spend the next 20 years in many ways, digging deeper and deeper into the layers of how you interact in your relationships, how you allow for your own personal expression, your own, again, Aquarius, so futuristic, innovative, it's where we see our hopes and our dreams, So here, Athena is saying Athena is talking about lovingly asserting yourself. And now I have the wasp joining that angel. I have Astera talking to the spider. I have Omega being joined by the mystery card, and Teresa being joined by the dragon. Okay. Somewhere, something is going on with Leo where you could potentially have this week piss you off. I say that because I think Spirit is asking you to slow down and consider something more before you take action. We have Athena saying to lovingly assert yourself, and this is about being pissed off. I'm pissed about something. Something has irritated me. Something's aggravated me. Something has got up my dander. And this is my relationship card. So it's a relationship of some kind. And then I have Astera saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and not to compromise. One of the things about Mercury traveling through the sign of Pisces right now is it could bring up history between your siblings, old relationships. And I think Pisces is your 8th house. Aries, wait, let me think. Aries is your 9th house. So Pisces is your 8th. I wonder if something might potentially be going on with old relationships, and maybe they're asking you not to react to, because this is a choice card, and here's victory in the angel's advice. And that means to me sort of like my choice, it has a potential to be victorious, but I might be going through something historic, meaning I'm going through a dynamic where I've been here before, and how am I going to behave this time? Or how am I going to process it in my mind? Hi, Betty. Welcome. Leo, the final position is Teresa, which represents a worry about other people. And then we go from the hot wasp to the calm dragon. And I want to offer it this way because right now, with Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus, they're going to square the Leo energy. So there could potentially, depending upon your natal chart, I happen to have my natal Uranus at 20 degrees. So I've got a square between transiting Uranus and Uranus in my chart. Whatever takes place this potential week, the new moon may illuminate something. So try your best not to react, but to give yourself an opportunity to really reflect about how you want to show up, because you could find yourself going from an old behavior to a new behavior that you've been fostering, nurturing, and you're very proud of yourself. And this is going to be where we start to see Pluto really giving you the benefits. I want to remind you guys because Mercury doesn't really bring wealth. Venus represents money, but does she bring wealth? And not unless I use my skills. Pluto and Saturn, while they rip up the initial landscape, they also bring in the best soil and the best fertilizer to build long-term wealth. So what we're looking at in Pluto's entry into Aquarius is, are you thinking about your future? Are you willing to do a 2.0 version? Or what are you willing to do in the way of not harping on your history? This is not about going back and trying to figure out who did what to you. This is about moving forward. What do I want in the future? Okay, onward and upward. On to our Virgos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Is somebody going to be a tax person? I think I need to get new readers. I can't really see the chat very well. Oh, thank you, Audacity Theater. I'm so blessed with you. You guys are so wonderful and lovely. All right, here we go. On to our Virgo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. There's our little sign. Small Wildflowers is not with us today, and I thank Lucy and whoever else is putting in the Stephen. Thank you for writing the names. It's hard for me to go through the chat, and sometimes the chat doesn't even come up for a while. So this way I was trying to cheat a little bit. All right, our tarot card for Virgo is the Knight of Wands. Fire on fire, passion, excitement, adventure, determination. That's what I see. When we look at the knights, we always see sort of a teenage, a youthful energy. I always think of it sort of as a male energy between the ages of, say, 14 and 34. It's kind of a large range, but, there's just this youthful exuberance. So what we're looking at with Virgo is passion. Now, let's think about the sign of Virgo. It represents enslavement, employment. It represents duty to others. And this is where I want to reframe that duty. I want to give Virgo the privilege of being able to open up the process of how they go about doing things, because when they allow their passions to be birthed, then the whole experience, the arduous manifestation process, gestating a dream so that you can then benefit from it, is worthy. There's a carrot to keep galloping towards. So I think that as Saturn opposes your house, wherever that is, okay, so Saturn is opposing your seventh house, I want to offer this, okay? Because there's a Virgo rising that I have in my tribe, and this person experienced somebody telling them that Saturn was going to blow up their relationship, okay? Because it was seventh house. And yet at the same time, Pisces rules photography, filmography. It rules creative things, whimsical things. And when I had my session, I said, you know what? This is about Saturn having you put in deep roots and really put in process and endurance, building professional relationships based on your creativity. And that person started that process and immediately started to see Saturn's benefit. So Virgo rising, this is really about your passions, your fire, your willingness to adventure. All right, here we go. Let's see. Our first angel is Indriel, the light worker. Then we have Rosetta, which is about children, teaching. It has a little bit of a mercurial energy because it involves both children and teaching. Oh, there's romance in the form of love in the form of Chantal. And then there's Shanti, the angel of peace. Virgo also rules health. I didn't bring that up. And it rules physical health, but mental health also, because it rules our daily habits, my daily mocha that I make every day. Indriel is being joined by the love card. Rosetta is being joined by Merlin. Okay, now I'm thinking for a second, Virgo, because Pisces is your seventh house, and we're starting to see activity. We've got Mercury there right now. We've got the sun there right now. Saturn obviously is going to continue on until 2026, but in no short order, Venus will be in your seventh house. This could be why we're seeing love fluffing up here. Mm-hmm. And then we have Chantal, the angel of romance, being joined by the Raven, which is magic and synchronistic events. Shanti is being joined by the dog. Virgo, there could be a fluff up in your love life. Literally, and I want to offer it this way, because you may not be in love with anyone or even be interested in romance. That might not be a chapter you're in. But if you are endeavoring something creative passionately, or you have a passion about something, it feels as if it's going to get a little a little juju this week, okay? Because this is like really passionate, really fiery, really, and there's an energy of quickness with that for me. Indriel, the light worker, is saying to shine your light with what you love. This is the beautiful transformation of the Virgo energy from the uptight, no offense, I got to get it done perfectionist that can be a little bit critical to the meanderer, the innocent energy that is learning a process and applying that process. Because this is Rosetta, your inner child, and here's Merlin offering alchemy, justice, and balance. And this to me is the balance of what I love, not just what I'm dutiful for, because here's Chantal in the angel's advice saying something is being renewed and fluffed up and it's time for it. And there's a magical time in many respects. That goes right back to Merlin. And then in the final position, we have Shanti bringing in peace, and then the dog representing unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity. So, this could be loyalty to yourself as you do things that you love that bring you more peace of mind and a sense of enjoyment in your life. But if you are of the more youthful energies that are looking for love, very much you could find something happening, or you'll start to feel the energy of this starting to brew. Let me think for a second. No. Is Taurus your fifth house? I think it is. Yes, it is. It could be romance. Jupiter and Uranus, unexpected romantic things, or creativity. So let's start putting a little, polish on that, Virgo. Fluff it up a little bit. Well, I know there's a lot of scary stuff going on in the world at large. I do believe that many of us are going to represent a light that has never been shown on the earth plane before because of technology. We'll be able to connect and create momentum. So I want you to start to allow that disruption is not necessarily have to trickle down into your home, that disruption, that you get to be the light that shows contrast to it. All right, let's go on to our Libras. Libra, here we are, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Your tarot card is the Queen of Wands. Look at this. This is another passionate energy. This is an energy where we combined water and fire. And I know sometimes we think that's steam, but water and fire also makes our cup of tea. So here we see this Leo energy, and she's looking to the future. She's holding the sunflower because she is the sun. And the sun makes everything grow. Now, it's also interesting because when I look at this for the first time ever, noticing that the wand here, or what we could call her staff, only has one little piece of foliage on it. Other than that, it's rather barren. And so to me, this is like she's already created her castle, and now she might be going on to create new things, to a new cycle of joy, creativity, fun. Let's see where we're going with this. All right, Libra. Our first angel is Ray. The second is Oceana. The third is Celeste. And the final is Rochelle. So your ruling planet is in Aquarius right now, having a conversation with Mars about individuality, about how to use my skills, about the future, about how to help the cosmic consciousness by allowing my own unique expression. And then she's going to go meet with Saturn in Pisces. And she's going to be, she's going to be walking in there with her finest on and all her hair is done. And she's going to sit there with Saturn, and Saturn's going to be like, all right, you look great, but we get to put some structure into all of that talent you have, my dear, because when you get into Aries, you're going to start to implement that. So here we go, Libra. Spirit is looking for Ray is joining. The focus card is joining Ray. The goblin is joining Oceana. Celeste is being joined by the disruption card. and Rochelle's being joined by the stag. Libra, you have the South Node in your first house, and we know the South Node is what they call an erosive point. It's where the tail of the dragon is, excretion happens. We can feel a sense of loss. We can feel a sense of things dwindling on some level. But I want to offer this because that sometimes that South Node is clearing out things that are blocking the queen from shining, the passion from shining. Because Ray is asking you very much to focus on what it is that makes you feel like a creator. When I look at the yellow garb, the Leo energy, it is a creator, an expresser, a performer, and Oceana is saying that you're in touch with your truth, but your personality is getting in the way. And that personality could be, I'm a cooperative component. I'm always the partner. I'm always the supporting role. And then somewhere that South Node is, because Aries is now your seventh house. So what we're talking about is being an individual within your partnerships. And, you may be afraid that this is going to disrupt or rock the apple cart here. This Celeste talks about home, and it talks about employment, and there's disruption. And so you're being held back in some way from allowing yourself to really look to the future and apply. Now, I want to offer it this way because we know also that Capricorn is your fourth house and Aquarius is your fifth house. So as you're feeling some changes going on in your, potentially Pluto's always going to bring some sort of transformation. And it could very well be the transformation of how you view yourself. It could also be that you're getting to an age where either your children are growing up or, the house in and of itself is giving you more space and time, because Spirit is very much asking you to follow your heart and to take a sense of leadership about that. I believe that the South Node going through Libra is about being egoless to other people's version of who I am, which is why the North Node in Aries is so powerful, because I'm able to tap into the hero, the pioneer, the entrepreneur. So here you may feel a little bit of, I want to offer it this way because I think really using the Pisces new moon energy would be powerful for you, in the sense that it's doing maybe a meditation or honoring the creativity that Pisces represents and planting those seeds, and then calling forth inspirational action, meaning Spirit, inspire me into action. Okay, let's go on, because you're going to have a big old moon coming up at the end of the month. 325. March 25th is the first lunar eclipse in Libra, and it's going to be at 5 degrees. So you got anything within a few degrees of that, you're going to feel it. Yes, DJ, exactly. So I'm planning on using it, all these energies, to my highest and greatest good. These planets ain't going to scare me. DJ, so let me offer this. So if your Mercury is at 5 degrees of Libra, it could very much bring the culmination of a cycle, not only about how you think and how you feel, but being so close to the galactic center, you are natally pre-wired to have a relationship with your own mercurial things. The supergalactic center is at 2 degrees of Libra, 22 minutes. And while the themes surround relationships, it surrounds the relationship that I have with myself, that I then bring into that commingling of energy. So the more I'm aware of what brings me joy versus looking at someone else to create my joy, the more powerful my relationships and more deep they can be. That means you were born near a new moon, Matt. And lucky you. I mean, if your sun and moon are both there, the sun is not in its highest vibration in Libra. I know, because I have my sun in Libra. It's in fall, but it is also it's where you shine your light in a way that is very powerful and influential on others. A lot of that would be interesting in degrees. But anyway, let me go on to Scorpio. Get my little sign. Scorpio, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Let's see what your tarot card is. The Star. Everybody's getting yummy cards this week. We'll keep our fingers crossed this continues. The star is rules astrology. Obviously, it sounds. I mean, it's in the name, but there's a vulnerability here. This person can see what she's pouring into the bigger pool, the one that's going around and around and around, and yet behind her, in the smaller urn, are these little pathways that are happening behind her consciousness, and yet she is participating in their expansion. So I want to offer this because her nakedness very much reveals to me a vulnerability. We see her foot is not submerged in the water, but on the water. So that makes me feel as if it's important for her to be aware of her emotional and intuitive body as well as how she is in her physical body. So let's look Scorpio, because, I always think that Scorpio, is even the most unconscious Scorpio is intuitive, because they're so scorpionic that they get to be intuitive because they don't trust people. Thank you, Matt. My information, I don't know if you've gotten a reading from me before, but my information is in the description. You can reach out and I'll send you all the particulars. All right, Scorpio, the star, really lovely, yummy energy. Mystique says to keep charging ahead, expect miraculous solutions. We have Merlina offering magical balance. We have Archangel Raphael offering an epiphany, and Athena saying that it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself. It's interesting because your ruling planet, Pluto, is going into Aquarius, the star. Oh, great. I'm excited. All right, here we go. Mystique is being joined by the Focus card. Merlina is being joined by the King. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Love card. And Athena is being joined by the Fear card. I would have to say that this very much feels as if Scorpio is going through some kind of energetic awareness of what they're creating both in front of them and behind them. But they don't need to know what's behind them because they have a strong intention or an awareness. And if for some reason, because, I always think that there's very few weak Scorpio energies. I mean, you got to be really afflicted to be, because Scorpio is so powerful. Mystique says to keep charging ahead. This very much plays to the star because it's coming out of the dark and into the light. Miracles are on their way. And then we see this Focus card. So when we focus on how it feels, wow, that's going to feel so peaceful. That's going to feel so right. That's going to feel so balanced. I don't really like the word healing anymore. I use it because it is a term most people understand, but I don't think we're broken. I think that when we run into disruption, we often are so into our earth energy that we don't recognize how that disruption is giving us opportunities to exercise our evolution, our new awarenesses, to sharpen the tool that is the sword of our mind. Because Merlina and the King being together make me feel like I'm finding some sort of balance, some sort of and some sort of authority within that. I know that I don't have to have the answer. I just get to have the intention of how it feels when the answer presents itself, because some sort of epiphany is coming. And this Love card makes me feel as if it comes through not efforting, but rather relaxing and sort of continuing to nurture what I'm creating. Because Athena is about lovingly asserting myself. And then the Let It Go card is a very interesting card for me because it is really about letting go of fear. And I don't really let go of the fear. I just get so far away from the fear that I realize how the fear has turned me into a more powerful energy. That fear serves me. It's where the seeds of achievement lie. It's where the seeds of exhilaration lie. I'm such a reality show person. When I see the nerves of a contestant, can I do it? Can't I do it? I don't know. Will I win? Won't I win? Will I be praised? Won't I be praised? And then they think they suck, and they didn't. And people, this is the biggest gas, the biggest inspiration, the biggest tail wag. And I say that because it's an individual one. You did it. You did it because you were willing to continue on and focusing on what was important to you versus what could potentially go wrong. Scorpio, you've got the pre-wiring to be able to achieve this. So use this powerful week's energies to put out, more intentions and focus on how it feels when you get where you're going, or where you're intending, I should say. All right. I'm going to go on to our Sagittarius. Oh, use my little sign. Sagittarius. Here we go. Oh, this guy is literally making money. Okay, we can call it detail. He's clearly a master of some kind. He's beyond apprenticeship. He's created a certain amount of, the coins there, and now he's going in and he's fine tuning things. And he's got a little ways to go. We see there's only one on the ground, which sort of infers that he's finished one to his liking, and he started working on another one. Let's see where we're going with this, because your ruling planet is in the sign of Taurus, which is earth, money, expansion, Jupiter. I wonder if there's any chefs or any bakers or any culinary artists in our tribe, or even herbologists or people who are planting their own gardens. I really have been seeing sort of this energy of, I don't know if I'll get to experience it so much living in such a big area, the Los Angeles, Orange County area of California. But in some of these more rural areas, we're going to see an infusion of the small farmer. That's the way I want to put it. The mom and pop shop that is offering seasonal things. So look out for that. But in any case, Sagittarius, you have an opportunity to make more money. Let's see where we're going. Thank you, DJ. I appreciate you. I go in ebbs and flows about, my excitement about the routine of Sunday. And every time I want to throw in the towel, I just can't do it. So I feel like it's good for me too, because I want to always come to this live with joy and excitement. I don't ever want it to turn into a routine. Okay. Our first angel for I'm sorry, that wasn't an angel card. That came out. I'm not going to use it. Here, first angel card for Sagittarius is Layla, setting intentions. Then we have Caressa. There's an ending of a life cycle. Isaiah's in a gestation period of new things. And then we have Archangel Uriel expressing some release of frustration, potentially. Well, let's see if maybe Sagittarius is going to go looking for new ways of making money. All right. We have the mystery card joining Layla. We have the perception card joining Caressa. We have Isaiah being joined by the truth card. And then we have the owl. I want to offer this. This very much feels as if it's about Sagittarius somehow expanding something that will help them make more material resources. And something about it feels as if it's kind of a double-edged sword, because some of you may want to, again, Jupiter is increased education, higher education, but some of you may have to sort of start to muse on things in more detail about what you want. I in my suite of services and what I do, I find that the more that I've done my work, there are certain things that I gravitate towards and I have more joy. It's not that I can't do those other services, but I don't enjoy them as much. I am a Reiki master and I do Reiki, but when people call me, I have to explain to them that my mouth never stops moving. And if they come here for a Reiki experience, the chances of a kumbaya thing are not going to happen. And they laugh at my, authenticity, but I've tried to keep my mouth shut for the hour and it just won't stop. I get all these messages happening and so I guess what I'm trying to say for my Sagittarius is somewhere you're looking deeper into your choices and refining what it is that you want to birth out into the world. Because I enjoy the astrology more. I enjoy the readings more. The Reiki, maybe I'm just a talker and I can't, yeah, really. But I tell them, they do laugh at me because here, there's a new perception coming. There's a new way of looking at things. There's a new opportunity on its way for you. And I want to offer this because, so here you are, Sagittarius rising, which makes Gemini your seventh house. Everyone's got a lot of seventh house activity going on. And I feel as if has something to do with your professional relationships and partnerships and being able to expand within your network, but something that's more refined or defined towards what brings you joy, because Isaiah is saying to bring forth new ideas. This is a gestation period based on a deeper truth. And I think in many ways, you may end up finding that any period of frustration that you've had where you felt like sort of like, oh my gosh, is my story ever going to move forward? There's a wisdom that will be extracted from it. It's one of those kind of things where, you think if you got what you wanted, it would be great. But then you realize that if you got what you wanted, you could potentially be tethered to a contract with a network for the next 5 years and they get all your money. So it's better to be third place or second place. I'm just using that as a little, reality show example. But somewhere, Sagittarius, Jupiter is offering you some expansion. We see very much your fifth house being lit up. And while we could go straight to romance, I think it's self-expression of some kind, doing something that as I move into my sixth house of work, I'm enjoying however I'm presenting myself out there. Okay. Let's go on to our Capricorns. And just while I'm putting the cards together, I did the new moon in Pisces, so please check out that video. And the March monthlies are out, so go ahead and check those out. By rising, those are more detailed. All right, here we go, Capricorn. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Your tarot card is the Ace of Pentacles. This is very much earth energy. I always see this garden path, to me, it's always the secret garden of my dreams. I imagine, back there's beautiful, the hills are alive with the sound of music. And, we talked earlier how the ace is the infusion of an energy, the beginning of something. It's not the fruition of it. So this is about birthing something in the way of the earth. And for some reason, I don't know why, I feel like this is to do more with, I'm going to be really weird, food. I don't know why I want to say that. Like, what are you eating? What are you ingesting? How are you taking care of your physical body? Let's see if that comes up. Indriel, the light worker. Serena is all about money. We have Akasha, the teacher, and then we have Aurora saying that things are starting to move, but they haven't come to fruition yet. Stay the course. Indriel's being joined by the transformational death card. Serena's being joined by the Baird. Akasha's being joined by Merlin. And Aurora's being joined by the forgiveness card. I want to offer this. We know that Pluto has been moving through your first house for the longest time. Now Pluto's going to go into your second house, right? Or already is in your second house. And I think that this is a different way of looking at your physical world. Literally not money, but your everyday physical life. I know we attribute that to Mercury, but we walk on this earth. We eat food that grows on this earth. And I feel as if when I look at this, you're rewriting a new dream. There's something that you want that's different than before. And now I feel like you're having so many transformational thoughts, epiphanies that are coming through that are offering you a sort of a conflicting story, Capricorn. One of it is I want this new thing, but I'm afraid because I don't want to let go of the old thing. And here we see Serena, which talks about abundance. And I feel like this is flow. And then there's the old story, the history again. What is Saturn? Saturn rules my history, my old age. And this, to me, I want to say that there is absolutely an energy where the physical is being rewritten. So, regardless of your chapter of life, this reading is about allowing yourself to feel the newness, something new. And if for some reason, let's just say you want to be a chef or you want to grow a garden. I don't know why I'm going there. Obviously, there's quite a few people that could potentially watch this video, but it's something that you're building that literally feels like it's coming out of the ground. I don't know why I want to say that. Here's Akasha, the teacher, and Merlin. You're learning about magic. You're learning about how your hard work pays off through your focus, through what you've been experiencing through Pluto's transit. Now we see Aurora saying that you're flying right high right now. Don't descend. It may threaten others because we've experienced some sort of transformation into the light that others have not seen of you, Capricorn, before, but it will all make sense. That forgiveness card is a reconciliation of energy where I start to understand that disruption wasn't about pulling the rug out from underneath me, but it was defining something for me. It was a divine disruption that was leading me closer to what I wanted versus what I've already been experiencing that maybe I didn't like so much. All right, let's go on to our, and I want to say this one more thing. Because Capricorn, your ruling planet is in Pisces, and this could be about being a bit of a dreamer and starting to put those dreams, using your ability to build. Saturn ruled the agriculture, ruled building in the material world. So this may have something to do with that, allowing your dreams to flourish a little more loudly. Well, it's funny. When I was 44, I still felt very young. Now I'm 64. And I will tell you that while it's shocking to look at my 64-year-old, I will say that I wouldn't trade it. The peace of mind that I have now versus even back then. 44 was better than 34. 34 was better than 24. 24 was better than 14. And 14 was better than 4. But anyway, Aquarius, are you ready? Aquarius, our final sign of the day. Your tarot card is the Seven of Wands. Now, this is interesting because this card can reflect two things. On some level, it can reflect leadership, but it also, to me, has more of a feeling of defensiveness, almost as if I'm defending my position, my passion, my ideas, my fire. While we can't see who's holding up those wands, the thing about Aquarius is it's so futuristic sometimes that it feels like an outcast, that it's been exiled, that it is not part of the pack. And when I look at the stance here and I look at his orange legs, being the orange tights, and then having one foot on the earth and then one in water, it makes me feel as if his wants and desires and the green tunic, he comes from his heart and he's defending it. Nobody's buying what he wants. And he's not happy about it. But let me offer it this way, because this could have a lot to do with how you're processing things in your mind, because we don't know what those 6 wands are actually doing except holding themselves up. So let's see, Aquarius. Our first angel is Ariel, new psychic and spiritual experiences. Layla saying to connect with your team. Athena is asking you to lovingly assert yourself. And Daniel is the angel of marriage and partnership, but it's also a history in partnerships. Ariel is offering forgiveness. Layla is offering a glimpse into your ego. Athena is offering a rebirth. And Daniel is offering love. Okay. So let's say this. Aquarius is not known to be the most emotional sign. Aquarius moon, oftentimes people will say that, it thinks about the collective. It's like so big that it doesn't get down into the individual. But here somewhere, there's being a rewrite of how you perceive love. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not sure that I think it's intimate love. I think it's love in general. I've observed people who, for a long time, and I see people who are offered love. And if you can't accept love, if you don't feel worthy of love, then there's constantly putting up some defense or some sort of barrier to it. Ariel is saying that new spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself. And then we have this forgiveness card. Pluto is coming into your first house. It's redefining you as a self. Right now, Pluto is at 1 degree. And as an example, Taylor Swift has her Venus ruling partnerships in Aquarius, and it destroyed her relationship with Joe, what's his name, from London. And it brought in Travis Kelce. Because where I'm trying to go with Aquarius is that if for some reason something feels old and historic, as you feel like you have to defend yourself, maybe you don't. And you have a natural habit. Mars and Venus are traveling through your first house right now. So this could have to do with defending yourself in relationships or what you want. It could even be taking action on the things of your own skills and desires, because somewhere your ego might be telling you you're not good enough. And God is saying, no, 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 no. Connect with spirit. Remember that the reconciliation comes when you start with spirit and work your way from there. So this is how I want to phrase it. We have a new moon in a very spiritual side of Pisces, which is your second house. So as you use this week's energy to connect in a bigger way, where you're defending yourself, where you're feeling like maybe you're not being supported, and then reframe that, because you're going through a birthing process of rewriting how you assert yourself in a way that you and you like what you're endeavoring. You rule hopes and dreams, but hopes and dreams that are acquired over a period of time. You are the 11th house, which means the soul has gone through this whole journey, and now it's starting to master broader thoughts and things that have to do with connecting with innovation, renovation. The divine laws of the universe could very much sit in the 11th house. And as I connect to them, I start to bring in more bounty, because Daniel is the angel of marriage, but also the angel of history in relationships. And here is the love card. So overall, for my Aquariuses, I think this week is about rewriting your ability to receive love from your friends, from your intimate partners, from your family, from your siblings, from all the people you're interacting with. And I don't know if it's about looking at how they are showing up, but how you are responding, how you perceive it. I'm going to tell you a weird story, and I'll end it there. I was walking my dog the other day, and I ran into my neighbor. You okay there, Buzz? And I don't have a relationship with my sister. She basically exiled me from the family after my father died. And then my neighbor says he ran into her at a bar, and she brought me up, or they started talking about me, and she started to cry, saying she misses me. And I thought to myself, she's acting. Was she drunk? That was my response. Was she drunk? He said no. And I could tell you that I would never expect any of that to happen, because my sister's not nice to me. So I thought it was just really kind of interesting. I'm telling you this story because weird stuff could come up out of nowhere about relationships to have you reviewing things. And I'll tell you, in my mind's eye, I thought if she's that broken up about it, she should make a move. But she will never do that. And I don't want her to anymore. So anyway, all right, guys, that's it for this week. When we convene next week, it will be Oscar night here in the United States. It will be the Pisces new moon will have taken place. Again, I encourage you to watch that video because we enter the season of creativity and of dreams. And remember, dreams this time are where you get to, through the process of sleep, connect with your inner being, your higher self, and replenish your soul so that you can then further your story in this dense earthly experience. All right, everybody, sending lots of love to you. Have a great week. I will get the timestamps posted as soon as I possibly can. I've got a client, 2 clients this afternoon, but I got my little cheat sheet, so it should go quick. All right, everybody, take care. Peace out. Hello.